Hello everyone, welcome to Royal Palace online theory classes. Today I am going to discuss about moving coil galvanometer MCG. Last class, in the last video, I have shown how coil will rotate inside a magnetic field. Based on that topic, based on that concept, moving coil galvanometer is designed. MCG is designed. What is this moving coil galvanometer is? It is a device which deflects upon passing current. If you modify this device, it can be used to measure current as well as voltage. It is a very sensitive device which deflects upon passing current. So, let us see the first, we will see the construction of this moving coil galvanometer. Moving coil galvanometer consists of two poles, north pole and south pole, otherwise a horseshoe shaped magnet. Here you can assume one horseshoe shaped magnet like this, whose poles are curved. It is having, first part what is having is two magnetic poles or horseshoe shaped magnet, two magnetic poles with curved shape, with curved ends. This point is very important, with curved ends. That is the first part. This is a permanent magnet. Within this permanent magnet, you can observe these poles of the permanent magnet are curved like this. These are curved. Within this gap between these two poles, that means gap between two poles you will get in horseshoe magnet only. Horseshoe magnet. This is horseshoe magnet. This is called horseshoe magnet. Horseshoe magnet. This gap, just I have drawn this part only. And these poles ends are curved like this. Okay. Now, this is first point. And next, it consists of a coil, which is consist of a coil, maybe rectangular, maybe circular, whatever you want, you can take any coil, wound on a soft iron core. It is wound on a soft iron core. Soft iron core. It is attached to a spring, and that spring is pivoted towards the scale. It contains one spring. On the spring, we are keeping this coil wound around a soft iron core. And next, you can observe here, this part is coil, this part is spring. And this is soft iron. Same diagram is there in your NCERT textbook, you can refer that also. And there is a pointer. This is what is called pointer. Pointer, this is. This pointer is free to move over the scale. This is scale. This is the scale. Means it will have some reading 1, 2, 3, 4, like whatever the reading. Next is pointer. Scale, pointer, scale, soft iron we have written, spring, consists of spring also. This is the construction. These are the parts which are present. Now, how it is made, the arrangement? See, within the gap between two poles, north pole and south pole, a coil is hanged. Actually, it is hanged from a wire. Here that wire is not shown. We are keeping one coil hanged in between north pole and south pole. And this coil, when it is present inside a magnetic field, that coil will rotate once you pass current. So, what happens here is, there is a coil hanged between two magnetic poles. Assume this is the coil. You can take any form of the coil. It is hanged between two magnetic poles like this. This is one south pole, this is north pole. This coil, once if I pass current, this is the direction of magnetic field, north to south like this. This is the direction of magnetic field. Observe here carefully. It is just repetition of your last video. Here, between the poles, nothing is there to confuse in this device. Between the poles of a magnetic, between the poles of magnet, we are hanging one coil like this. One coil is hanged. And once you pass current, what happens? This coil will rotate, because in yesterday class also I shown very clearly. These are, if you take these four limbs A, B, C, D, there will not be any force on AB. Force on AB is equal to force on DC is equal to 0. Force on AD, if you calculate the direction of force on AD, this is field, this is current, AD will move inside, AD will move into, BC will move outside. Just like if you keep a notebook here, this notebook will rotate like this, because this part will enter into, this part will enter out. How to calculate the direction of force? By using left hand rule. Field, current, this is the direction of force. So on this it is into, on this it is out. So in and out like this, it is going to rotate. This is the principle. So what is the principle of moving coil galvanometer? Is a current carrying coil. A current carrying coil rotates in a magnetic field. That is the principle. Now when it is rotating, what happens? This wire will undergo some twisting. This wire will undergo some twisting. Just you take a wire and rotate like this. Suppose this wire is there. If you rotate this like this, it will undergo some twisting like this. It is undergoing some twisting. Okay. Here also, when coil rotates, this wire will undergo some twist. It will undergo twist, and the couple per unit twist, couple per unit twist, couple per unit twist is already calculated. Couple per unit twist is already calculated. Couple per unit twist, will take it as C. It is already calculated. If it takes a turn theta, C theta is the torque developed in the wire. This is the torque developed inside the wire. Torque in wire. The coil is hanged by one wire. Imagine there is a thread. To that thread you connected the coil and you are hanging. When coil rotates like this, suppose this is the wire, if this is the coil, you can take my right hand as the coil. When coil rotates, this wire will twist. This wire is twisting. The couple developed per unit twist will take it as C, and the twist will take it as theta. That is the torque developed. And according to last video, if you refer, the torque acting on a coil is equal to NIAB sin theta. This what I derived in the last video. NIAB sin theta. Now here, this curved poles always produce radial magnetic field. This is very important point in moving coil galvanometer. Why the poles of the magnet are curved? In order to provide radial magnetic field. In order to provide radial B bar. To provide radial B bar. Radial B bar means angle between area and B is 90 degrees. Radial means 90 degrees. See, aerial vector is in this direction. Suppose this is the coil. This is the direction of B. This is the direction of B. Okay, and aerial vector will be like this. In Gauss law also I explained, if area is present on the plane of the board, aerial vector is present perpendicular to the board. Area is equal to L bar cross B bar, it is towards you. So this theta will take it as 90 degrees. So arc developed is equal to NIAB. This NIAB you equate to C theta, the torque developed inside the wire. Okay. From this what you can write, I is equal to C theta by BAN. That means current developed is directly proportional to twist developed. So by knowing the theta value, we can measure current. What is theta means? The angle through which this coil is getting rotated. And what is this C? Torque developed per unit twist. It is a constant value for a wire, and the wire which we are using in moving coil galvanometer is made up of phosphorus bronze. This is also very important point, phosphorus bronze. Sometimes in 1 mark they will ask why the poles of the moving coil galvanometer are curved. The answer is in order to provide radial magnetic field. What is the meaning of radial magnetic field? Radial magnetic field meaning is it is always perpendicular to the plane of the coil. It is always perpendicular. It is always perpendicular. That means always in the direction of plane of the coil, always perpendicular to area of the coil. Suppose this is coil which is present inside 2 poles. This is the direction of magnetic field. Suppose coil is rotated like this. This is the direction of magnetic field, because magnetic field is present along all the radius. You can observe this is around in the form of a circle. So the poles are curved, magnetic field line is present along all the radius. So now this is the radius. When coil is like this, when it is rotated, this is the direction of magnetic field. When it is rotated like this is the direction of magnetic field. When rotated like this is the direction of magnetic field. So the coil, whatever may be the orientation of the coil, B is always in the plane perpendicular to area. In the plane and perpendicular to area, that kind of field is called radial magnetic field. Radial means along the radius. Means inside a circle. So imagine these 2 are curved surfaces. Inside this magnetic field is present in all directions along the radius of the sphere. So along the radius of the sphere means whatever may be the direction of the coil, these magnetic field lines will be always along the surface of the coil. That means they are perpendicular to area of the coil. Therefore torque is equal to NIAB, that is equal to C theta. Then I is proportional to theta. This you can take it as a constant. I is equal to K theta. I is equal to K theta, and this we call it as constant of moving coil galvanometer. Now how we will use this device? Let us see how we are going to use this device. The thing is, once you pass current, this coil will rotate, pointer will move. Coil rotates, pointer moves. Then we can, by knowing the value of theta through which the coil has rotated, we can calculate the current. What is the current we are sending inside the coil? So once this coil is hanged in between the 2 magnets, if you are not passing current, coil will be in equilibrium, it will not rotate. Once you pass current, what happens? This coil starts rotating like this, it will rotate. Once it rotates, pointer moves, and based on the theta value we can tell that how much current is flowing. So it is used for the measurement of current and voltages. It can be used to measure current and it can use it to measure voltage. This is the concept of moving coil galvanometer. So moving coil galvanometer is a device which deflects upon passing current. The principle involved is restoring torque is developed inside the wire through which the coil is hanged when current is flown, and that restoring torque is equal to C theta is equal to NIAB. And here one more point what you have to remember is that coil is hanged by a wire made up of phosphorus bronze. Why phosphorus bronze we will select means it has a high Young's modulus. This is very important point, high Young's modulus and low rigidity modulus. Young's modulus you have in first year. Why we are selecting only phosphorus bronze? They can ask for 1 mark also sometimes. High Young's modulus and rigidity, low rigidity modulus. That means it will not extend easily, but it will rotate easily. This is the concept of moving coil galvanometer. Okay. And next, how we can use this moving coil galvanometer? That is more important. Moving coil galvanometer can be used to measure current by just doing a small modification. We call this as ammeter. Moving coil galvanometer can be used to measure current by giving a small modification, which is called as ammeter. You take a moving coil galvanometer. For this moving coil galvanometer, you connect a small resistance called shunt, small resistance S in parallel. This total device is called ammeter. This total device I will call it as ammeter. A moving coil galvanometer connected to a small resistor S, we call it as ammeter. This total is ammeter, this total combination. Now let us, it is present, it is connected to one cell or battery like this. Current I enters, this is current I enters. After reaching here, this current will divide as Ig and Is, because these two are in, there is a junction here. Now what ammeter measures? Ammeter reads I. Ammeter will read, ammeter measures I, that I am taking it as Ia, current measured by ammeter. So this I will write it as Ia. According to Kirchhoff junction law, Ia must be equal to Ig plus Is. This is first point, what you have to remember. And you can observe that G and S are in parallel. So when G and S are in parallel, what you can write is potential difference across ammeter. Total potential difference in parallel combination is equal to potential difference across galvanometer, that is equal to potential difference across shunt, because in parallel combination total potential is equal to individual potentials. Potential across this and across this and across the total device is also same. So what is the effective resistance of this ammeter? Ammeter effective resistance will be equal to G and S are in parallel, you will get G into S by G plus S. You can refer your current electricity series and parallel combination, then you will get the clear idea. So potential difference across this I can write as, according to Ohm's law, Ia into Gs by G plus S, Gs by G plus S is equal to Ig into G, Ig into G is equal to Is into S. This is the condition. So by connecting a small resistor in parallel to galvanometer, galvanometer is converted into ammeter, which can read the current. This is the condition. And next, how can you make a galvanometer into a voltmeter? Galvanometer into a voltmeter. The thing is, you take a galvanometer. For this galvanometer, you connect a high resistance in series. Then this total combination acts like voltmeter. This total combination we call it as voltmeter. It is in series combination, therefore current across voltmeter must be equal to current across galvanometer must be equal to current across resistor. All current should be same. And voltage across galvanometer, voltage across voltmeter is equal to voltage across galvanometer plus voltage across resistor, because they are in series combination. So here I can write according to Ohm's law, IV into what is the effective resistance of voltmeter? Effective resistance of voltmeter is G and R in series, so G plus R. So IV into G plus R is equal to, IV into G plus R is equal to Here we can write V by voltage across voltmeter by G plus R is equal to voltage across galvanometer by G is equal to voltage across resistor by R, because this I have converted from Ohm's law. V is equal to IR, V is equal to IR, I is equal to V by R. So this is the formula. This is how we can convert. So some amount of voltage is measured in galvanometer, voltage is measured in resistor. That means what is the disadvantage with moving coil galvanometer means it will be very sensitive instrument, and high currents it can't take. So for that reason, here what I will do, so one small current I will measure from galvanometer, and what current is there in shunt we can directly calculate by using parallel combination method. Suppose if I am measuring 100 amperes, 1 ampere will pass through galvanometer, 99 amperes will pass through shunt. Why? Because resistance is low. When resistance is low, current will be more. Here bypassing of current will do. Bypassing of current will do. We will bypass current here. I want to measure 100 ampere. If 100 ampere is directly passed through galvanometer, galvanometer will fail. For that reason, what I will do, I will connect one small resistor in parallel to galvanometer, and I will bypass the current. Reading I will get from galvanometer. Based on that reading, I can calculate shunt resistance also, shunt current also. From that directly I will get the total current. This is the principle. Here what I will do, here I will do the breaking of voltage will do. Suppose if I want to measure 100 volts, 1 volt I will measure from galvanometer, or less than 1 volt I will measure from galvanometer. Remaining 99 volts I will measure from resistor, because V is proportional to R. If resistance is more, voltage is more. That's why here I am connecting high resistor. Here I am connecting high resistor, here I am connecting low resistor, and here I am using parallel combination, here I am using series combination. So if a high resistor is connected to galvanometer in series, it acts like a voltmeter. If a small resistor is connected in parallel to galvanometer, it acts like a ammeter. Ammeter measures current, voltmeter measures voltage. Why we are converting? Because galvanometer is a very sensitive device, it can't measure high current. So in order to reduce the load per galvanometer, we are using this condition. And this part of conversion of galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter, it is very simple if you take the consideration of current electricity. In series combination, total current is equal to individual currents. In parallel combination, total voltage is equal to individual voltages. In a parallel combination, voltage is added. In series combination, current is added. So based on that, we will decide. And this part is also very important for competitive exams, how to convert galvanometer into ammeter. So in this video, we have discussed what is galvanometer and what are the, in what ways we are going to use. First we discussed the construction, then working principle, and afterwards we converted the galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter. So this is all about moving coil galvanometer. Thank you everyone for joining me. If you have any comments or any doubts, you can leave in the comment section, or you can ask in our WhatsApp group.